Hello everyone, we all are here with a new chapter today, the new chapter of history, Nationalism in India. In the first chapter we have read about the nationalism in Europe, and we all know that in Europe nationalism was associated with the rise of nation states, with the establishment of nation states, and their revolutions started against their own autocratic or absolute rulers. Whereas in India, nationalism is associated with the freedom struggle, that is to get independence, to get freedom from the colonial rule of the Britishers in India. So nationalism is the same, but the factors are totally different. Like in India, in Vietnam, that is the Indochina, Laos, Cambodia and Vietnam, whereas in the other Asian countries, colonial rule was going on and all the people, they were under it, and they had the impacts of colonialism in their different way. Every social section, every section of the society, they felt it differently, but the aim was one. Everyone fought for independence, everyone was making effort to get rid of these colonial people and to get rid of the colonial rule. So our topic starts, rise of nationalism in India. The topic starts with the first subheading, that is First World War, Khilafat and the non-cooperation. So we will particularly focus on these topics now frequently. First World War, it will be asked in 5 marks in the board examination. The question is, note it down, explain the growth of nationalism in India during and after the First World War. First World War, it was an industrial war, and for the first time sophisticated weapons were used like submarines. New techniques, new methods of warfare were adopted by the countries, because actually it was a competition, it was a war between the European countries, and Indians were they were dragged into the World War. Why? Because we were not sovereign at that time, because we had to act according to the will, according to the wish of the British officials. So Indians, they were forced to join the war, and the British government, they promised Indians that if they support us in the World War, immediately after the war they would be granting us Swaraj, because Britishers knew very well that they could do nothing in the World War without the support of the Indians. And you know that each and every country participated in the World War with a view to win the war, by hook or by crook. So during the World War, there was a great political and economic change in the country. Then new taxes were imposed on the people, like for example, custom duties were raised, and income tax was introduced. Prices doubling between the war years 1913, between 1913 and 1918, prices of the goods doubled, and lots of hardships for the common people, lot of difficulties, hardships, problems for the common people, but they decided to face it. Why? With the greed that let it be, it is a matter of few years or a few days, and we will be getting Swaraj after that. So they accepted everything. When there was scarcity in the army, scarcity of the soldiers, British government asked the Indian villages to supply the soldiers. So villagers were called upon to supply the soldiers, and there was forced conscription into the army, forced conscription. And when villagers went to war, crops failed. And because of the crop failure, there was a severe famine in the country. People died of hunger, and because of a severe famine, there was influenza epidemic toiling the lives of the people. According to the census of 1921, about 12 to 13 million people perished in India, either due to the epidemic or due to the famine. Correct? So during the World War and even after the World War, people faced a number of difficulties. After the World War, Britishers were at the victorious side, they were the winners. And instead of giving Swaraj to the Indians, they were celebrating their victory. They were celebrating their victory, as well as they had invited the European guests to Delhi, and they were organizing the Delhi Darbar, spending lots of money in welcoming their guests, but no effort was made to see the condition of the Indians, or to look after the Indians who were dying of hunger, supporting them with food and all. Nothing was there. So the hopes of the Indians were belied, as they were aspiring that after the war they will be getting Swaraj. No Swaraj was given to them. So this was the situation that brought nationalism among the Indians. In the preceding chapter you will see that when Second World War broke out, again Britishers wanted the support of the Indians. Indians declined. They refused to support the Britishers in the Second World War, because this was rise of nationalism. So like this, our first topic is complete. Rise of nationalism in India during and after the First World War. So Indians were not happy because Swaraj was not given to them, and they had seen and they came to know that British government will remain foreigner in the country. They will never be in favor of the Indians. So nationalism was there. At this stage, a critical stage in India, a new leader appeared. And you are right, it was Mahatma Gandhi. In 1915, it was a new leader with an innovative method, an innovative idea. He entered into the Indian politics, and when he came here, he saw the condition that were prevailing in the country. He also came to know the different groups, the different organizations. Like I told you, in 1906, in 1905 Bengal was partitioned, and in 1906 Aga Khan formed the Muslim League. So the two main communities of India there was a drift between them. They were separated from each other. In this situation, Gandhiji appeared in the Indian politics, and he told the people about his innovative method that he had already adopted successfully in South Africa, and that was Satyagrah. So there is a short question on it of 3 marks. What do you mean by Satyagrah? Satyagrah, that is a struggle against the Britishers, a struggle against the colonial rule, which is based on truth and non-violence. Satyagrah, it is the method in which Gandhiji told his followers that instead of forcing the oppressor to see what is right or what is wrong, let the conscience, inner feeling, let the conscience of the oppressor know what is right and what is wrong. Actually, Satyagrah is a method of struggle which have passive resistance, not the active resistance. And according to Satyagrah, Gandhiji said that if our struggle is based on truth, if our intentions are good, if our struggle is based on justice, then there is no need to suppress or to forcibly make the oppressor know what is right or what is wrong. Truth is ultimately going to be at the winning side. Truth is ultimately it is a method of cooperation. By the people who are mentally and physically fit. A very important point. An ordinary man cannot understand the power of truth and non-violence, but a mentally and physically fit person, he can understand the passive resistance, not the active resistance. You have seen in the first movie of that is Munna Bhai, you have seen that how a person was waiting for a neighbor to come and spit in front of his gate, and daily he was cleaning it, and the day came that the one who was spitting near the door himself realized that it was wrong, and that was Satyagrah. Correct? Now, Satyagrah was experienced by Gandhi. Practically, Gandhiji told about it to the people of India practically. You have this map work now. In 1916, during the First World War, 1916, Champaran, Bihar, locate it in your map, map of India, first of all in political map and then do it in physical map. In Champaran, there was indigo plantation going on. The plantation owners were Britishers and Indian peasants were forced to grow indigo in their fields. And you know that indigo, which was required by the Britishers in their industries, this crop, if Indian peasants grew, their land used to become, their soil used to become unfertile after a few years, and they were not benefited by it at all. So, in Champaran, Gandhiji went to support these peasants and against their oppression, and he was successful in it. Then in 1917, Gandhiji was invited to Kheda district of Gujarat. Again map work, Kheda district of Gujarat, where peasants were suffering under the crop failure and they were not able to pay revenue to the Britishers, and because it was a foreign government, they were again and again asking the peasants to deposit their revenue. Gandhiji went to Kheda and he supported the peasants and got their revenues relaxed. Again in 1918, Gandhiji was invited to Ahmedabad by the cotton mill workers. Cotton mills were set up in India by the Britishers, and the working condition for the workers in the cotton mills was not satisfactory. They were exploited badly, they suffered a lot. So Gandhiji went to Ahmedabad, asked the owners of the cotton mills to look into the condition of the workers, and he was very successful in it. So at 3 places Gandhiji practiced satyagraha and he was emboldened by his success. He became very bold by his success because at every place his demands were accepted, and this was practically satyagraha was taught to Indians. So this is again your 3 marks topic plus your map work. I hope you are getting it very interestingly. You are getting it and you are understanding all these points. Then we come to the Black Act, that is Rowlatt Act of 1919. Who don't know about it in India, about the Rowlatt Act? I think everybody knows about it. In 1919, instead of giving Swaraj to the Indians, we know what Britishers did in the British Legislative Council, that is the Central Imperial Legislature. There were some Indian members because, you know, Britishers used to, time to time, they used to conduct election, and a few seats were given to the Indians also, so as to tell the other European countries that, see, we are training the Indians. Because according to them, it was not colonialism. According to the Britishers in India, it was a civilizing mission. It was a civilizing mission, or it was a white man's burden that they are teaching us. So anyhow, in the Imperial Legislative Council, Rowlatt Act was passed hurriedly despite the strong opposition by the Indian members. Means they only clapped the tables that do not pass this act, because this act was very humiliating. This act was totally against the Indians. But even then it was hurriedly passed, and according to Rowlatt Act, any Indian could be arrested at any time for a period of 2 years without trial. And see the second point of it. Against their arrest, Indians were allowed not to go to any court for any appeal, not to give any argument or dalil, or not to go to any lawyer or vakil. We used to learn it like this. Against Rowlatt Act, Indians were allowed no vakil, no dalil, no appeal. So no lawyer, no court, and no argument. And at least for 2 years, any Indian could be arrested, and they were allowed no trial. So this was against the civil liberty of the Indians. Again, your 5 marks topic. It was against the civil liberty of Indians. Civil liberty. What does it mean? It simply means right to protect your life, right to protect yourself. In case there is any blame on you, you have the right to go to the lawyer, you have the right to appeal in the court. but this right was taken away by the Britishers. I will tell you about it in detail in tomorrow's lecture. So here you must remember that Rowlatt Act was passed despite opposition by the Indian members, and Indians were against it, and Gandhiji, Mahatma Gandhi, decided to launch Rowlatt Satyagrah against the humiliating Rowlatt Act. And the Rowlatt Satyagrah began on 6 April 1919. These dates you have to learn by heart, because you all know that you get 1 mark question, and it is mass scoring when you know the 1 mark question in sequence. So learn it in sequence, learn this date, 6 April 1919, Rowlatt Satyagrah began by Gandhi. Tomorrow we will discuss about what was Rowlatt Satyagrah, in which areas of India it spread, then what happened in Jallianwala Bagh, then what happened that Gandhiji was forced to adopt the non-cooperation movement to support the Khilafat movement. What was Khilafat movement? We will discuss all these topics tomorrow. Do it very carefully according to the events, and we will meet again tomorrow with a great energy and enthusiasm. Till then, have a very good day.